I've been running, well, I set up my first recruitment business in 1999. There aren't many things I haven't done within the recruitment industry. They're all still running, thankfully. I very much am on the operational side of the business, so I'm interested in the mechanics of it, and in particular, something that I call futurology, which is what I believe is going to happen, which is kind of as sexy as it gets in recruitment. It's not quite as sexy as Brian's job. And by the way, Brian, my office is in Soho, and I thought your face looked familiar. One thing I want to talk about is attraction. You know, I mean, we talked about entry level, we talked about apprenticeships, which has been fantastic. But within 5 years, everything is going to be completely out in the open. Your details will be out in the open. All companies' profiles are very public right now. So what can you do to actually get your company, get your culture out there? Well, one of the big things at the moment is the use of social media. It's free and it's easy to use. Facebook fan pages are a big deal at the moment. It's easy to set up. You've got to attract people to your business before they've even thought about joining you. You can't just expect somebody to suddenly think, I wake up one day, receive a job description from yourself, or see an advert, come onto your website and want to work for you. You've got to engage with them. So Facebook fan pages are a great way of doing this. Twitter is rapidly expanding and is a fantastic way of engaging with people that might want to work for you. There are two things you can do with Twitter. There's firstly an engagement handle, so you can set up a way of people being able to contact you. As long as you've got somebody sitting there willing to discourse with the person at the other end, that works really well. But you can also use it as a job feed. So any internal vacancies that you might have, you can upload them to Twitter with a link back to a position on your website, which works extremely well. And Twitter itself has a job board, and it's growing rapidly. The other thing, of course, is LinkedIn, which I'm sure most of you up here are on today. This is growing by 1 million users a week, and Facebook is losing 100,000 users a week, so it's obviously making a big difference. With LinkedIn, it's very easy to set up a group for your company. It's very easy to identify the kind of person and the kind of skill set that you would want to attract to your business. It's very easy to contact them via groups and then attract them in to your group. So you've got 3 channels already. You've got Facebook, you've got Twitter, you have LinkedIn. You're building up these little communities of people, and they may well be sitting there for a number of years, but when you want to talk to them about something that could be of interest for them, at least you've actually been able to engage with them prior to doing that, and they know something about your business. Now, one thing I do see on a lot of employers' websites is extremely poor career sections. Jobs are out of date, they're poorly written, there's no real information there. It doesn't take long to do this. Get some advice and make sure that that is properly up to date. Liaise with your sourcing team or your HR department. If it's rubbish, take it off. You're far better off having nothing there and using a very well-formed and constructed PSL of specialist recruiters to fill your vacancies, rather than have a poorly run career site. And that goes for all the social media stuff as well. If you're not going to do it properly, don't do it, because it affects your employer brand. In terms of visibility, YouTube is now fantastic. Google owns YouTube, so video is on the up big time. You might want to invest about 140 quid in a little flip cam, do some video of people within your offices, get some of their opinions, stick them onto YouTube. You can put little tags against them, so when people search for construction job in London, a little video of Boy's offices comes up with a little speech maybe from Lionel about what it's like to work here. All these things are quite difficult to prove that you are actually speaking to people. The benefits are fairly intangible, but what you don't realise, in the background, you are really building up a massive following of people that are interested in your company. The other thing is really retention, which is it's more of an HR thing, I think, and it's got to be done very well with the management. And so that's almost a separate sort of function. Now, a company like Boyd, for example, with, £200 million turnover plus, you have an awful lot of project work. How do you manage your existing supply chain, your recruitment supply chain? You might be using an awful lot of contractors and temporary workers. Do you know what you're paying for these people? Do you know where they're coming from? Do you know what agencies or managers are using? Do you know how long they're working there for? Do you know, have you got infographics? Have you got great HR reporting on them? And can you, at any particular point in time, break down a cost centre per division within your business? The chances are you probably can't, but if you haven't got a well-managed supply chain and a sort of sourcing team on the recruitment side, it's very, very difficult to actually run the people side of your business properly. There's a guy, thankfully, who's here today from Canada, Jeff Nugent, who runs a very successful business over there, doing exactly that for companies like Deloitte. He manages all of their contractors, and it's a fantastic bit of kit, which is why I'm partnering him here in the UK, because I really feel that we don't manage the process well enough over here. And if we did, it would be far easier to retain those people on a longer term basis, on a low cost basis, rather than just bring them in and let them go and have no further contact with them. So I think we'll call it a day there. That's put a few minutes up. If you've got any questions afterwards, please come and see me.